to talk about a full-blown meltdown happening on CNN to the point where Abby Phillip, the Democrat propagandist host, had to stop the show. Stop the show because a black liberal
A
lost his
Wokey.
mind
A
over
black
being told
Wokey.
basically to
Bakari
get
Sellers.
over the alleged racism, hate, and bigotry, and if they don't like what the Supreme Court has ruled recently in regards to redistricting and the Voting Rights Act, host had to stop the show. Stop the show because a black liberal lost his mind over being told basically to get over the alleged racism, hate, and bigotry, and if they don't like what the Supreme liberal lost his mind over being told basically to get over the alleged racism, hate, and bigotry, and if they
Bakari
don't like
Sellers,
what the Supreme
one
Court
of the
has
malarkey
ruled
tellers.
recently in regards to redistricting and the Voting Rights Act and so-called black districts, then you got a problem with the Constitution. And Kevin O'Leary, who happens to be white, is correct, right? He is very, very, very correct
Word.
when it comes to telling a black liberal to
Love
get
or
over
hates this
because
dude,
it's about
agree or
time,
disagree
right?
with
It's
this
been
dude,
50, 60
politically
years
he is
since the
correct.
civil rights
Kevin O'Leary is. Of
very,
Shark,
very
Kevin
correct
O'Leary
when
of
it comes
Shark
to telling a
Tank.
black liberal to
The
get over
entrepreneur,
because
the
it's about
investor,
time,
the
right?
real
It's been
estate
50,
dude.
60 years since the civil rights era. We've made Kevin O'Leary,
The billionaire,
white,
Kevin O'Leary.
correct, right? He is very, very, very correct.
New York.
When it comes to telling a black liberal to get over it, because
Kevin O'Leary
it's about time,
of Shark
right?
Tank.
It's been 50, 60 years since the redistricting and the Voting Rights Act and so-called black districts, then you got a problem with the Constitution. And Kevin O'Leary, who happens to be white, is correct, right? He is very, very, very correct when it comes to telling a black liberal to get over
A black
because
Wokey.
it's about time, right? It's been 50, 60 years
60
since
plus.
the civil rights
60
era.
plus.
We've made a ton of progress since then. And if black people haven't made progress since then, it's because they've been voting Democrat, right?
Blindly.
So way, I personally believe we made enough progress where this stuff is not necessary.
Yeah.
If we haven't made enough progress, then that's because Democrats haven't get in the black vote, 90% of the black vote.
Crazy. 90 plus percent clip.
So either way,
Black women. High, almost 90% clip asked for black men. Crazy. Crazy.
Okay, we're in a whole
what's 87% clip something
different country than we were back then. We don't need black districts
something
anymore, right?
like that. 87% something like that. Something like that. 87%.
It's a threat to their special rights and privileges based off. Right? Either way, it's time to move on.
Yep.
50, 60 years.
BCP is cooking in this part.
We've made a ton of progress since then. And if black people haven't made progress since then, it's because they've been voting Democrat, right? So either way,
blindly.
I believe we made enough progress where this stuff is not necessary. If we haven't made enough progress,
they've been blindly voting blue.
Haven't get into black
voting blue no matter who. They've been voting blue no matter who for the longest. Crazy. Crazy work. Nasty work. They've been voting blue no matter who for the longest. They've been voting blue no matter who for the longest. It is crazy work.
For decades now and haven't done it. So this stuff is not necessary. If we haven't made enough progress, then that's because Democrats haven't get in the black vote, 90% of the black vote for decades now and haven't done a damn thing with it. So either way, right? Either way,
they just talk.
It's time to move on from special rights and privileges based on
special treatment,
we're in a whole
pedestalization. It is over. The wokeness.
We don't need black districts anymore, right? We don't need that.
The worship.
For whatever reason, black liberals are having a hard time accepting this reality.
The idolatry is over. Over. It is OVA.
Right? Either way, I personally believe we made enough progress where this stuff is not necessary. If we haven't made enough progress, then that's because Democrats haven't get in the black vote, 90% of the black vote for decades now and haven't done a damn thing with it. So either way, right? Either way, it's time to move on from
special
rights and privileges based off race. Okay, we're in a whole different country than we were back then.
Yep.
We don't need black districts anymore, right? We don't need that. And for whatever reason, black liberals are having a hard time accepting
black
this reality.
wokies.
Actually, I know the reason why
Black
they're having a hard time
wokes.
accepting it. It's because
they struggle.
It's a threat to their power and influence within the Democrat Party. Now that we don't have,
they struggle with accepting this as the reality. It is craziness.
Special rights and privileges based off race. Okay, we're in a whole different country than we were back then.
Agreed. We concur. We converge.
Anymore, right? We don't need that. And for whatever reason, black liberals are having a hard time accepting this reality. Actually, I know the reason why they're having a hard time accepting it. It's because it's a threat to their power and influence within the Democrat Party. Now that we don't have black districts, aka Democrat districts anymore, that limits the power and influence of black liberals within the Democrat Party. And
he's cooking.
Really
real-ish.
Upset about. And the Supreme Court just delivered another devastating ruling. We talked about this yesterday. Out in Alabama, where they're allowing Alabama to use some maps they drew a few years ago that was struck down by a lower court. They were forced to use a court-imposed map.
This is correct. What BCP is saying.
Of course, devastating ruling. We talked about this yesterday. Out in Alabama, where they're allowing Alabama to use some maps they drew a few years ago that was struck down by a lower court. They were forced to use a court-imposed map where they had 2 black districts, right? By the courts. Forced Alabama to use a map where they had 2 black districts.
Crazy.
And now Alabama is allowed to use the old map with only 1 black district, aka Democrat district.
2 was illegal.
For the Voting Rights Act, okay? And I
it was an illegal racial gerrymandering what took place.
Discussion on CNN that's going to go up district.
You can't gerrymander based on race. It is violative.
For the Voting Rights Act, okay? And I want to react to again, forced Alabama to use a map where they had 2 black districts, and now Alabama is allowed to use,
all the way.
The old map with only 1 black district, aka Democrat district.
One is fair. One is fair. One is the right.
Okay.
One is the right number.
Again, this panel discussion on CNN. Black district, aka Democrat district, under the new standard for the Voting Rights Act. Okay, and I want to react.
One is what it should be to keep it all the way a buck.
They were forced to use a court-imposed map where they had 2 black districts, right? By the courts. The courts forced Alabama to use a map where they had 2 black districts, and now Alabama is allowed to use the old map with only 1 black district, aka Democrat district, under the new standard for the Voting Rights Act. Okay, and I want to react to again this panel discussion on CNN that's going to go off the rails because of black liberals refusing to accept reality or the Constitution. So without further ado,
the wokies, not all Democrats, but the wokies.
Representation. People are losing.
This is Bot Jennings, the man who told Adam Mockler, "Get your effing hands out of my face." Adam didn't put his hands in Scott's face, but Scott told this lie to get sympathy, to get pity. It is crazy. Bot Jennings, he's so manipulative. It is crazy, bro. He should have gotten suspended, but he's still able to debate and appear on this show and say what he has to say. Yeah, it is crazy, bro. It is crazy.
And get into this.
Heard you say that people are losing representation. People are losing their voice. No voter has lost their voice at all. No one's been disenfranchised. Every voter in America before these court rulings could go cast a ballot this November, and every voter in America, white, black, or otherwise, can go. Every voter in America before these court rulings.
Scott Bot Jennings, he's a bozo, but if he cooks, he cooks. I give him credit where it is due.
Right now,
yours truly is no unreasonable person.
One vote that they, black or otherwise, can go cast a ballot right now. The lines may be changed.
Run its back.
Because of black liberals refusing to accept reality or the Constitution. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this.
Heard you say that People are losing representation. People are losing their voice. No voter
Dilution of the black vote.
disenfranchised. Every voter in America before these court rulings could go cast a ballot this November, and every voter in America, white, black, or otherwise, can go cast a ballot right now.
Yeah.
The lines may be changing, but every voter still has the same amount of voting power, one vote, that they had. It's just that this Supreme Court said your race doesn't necessarily have to dictate.
It is irrelevant.
The fact that you're an
It
American
has no
citizen
relevance.
and your franchise gives you one
It is
vote, that is
unimportant.
your political identity, and it is black or otherwise can go cast a ballot right now. The lines may be changing, but every voter still has the same amount of voting power, one vote, that they had. It's just that this Supreme Court said
this is
your
based
race
what
doesn't
Bot
necessarily
Jennings
have to
is
dictate
saying.
your political identity. The fact
Agree
that
or
you're an
disagree
American
with him
citizen
politically,
and your
like
franchise
or
gives you one
hate,
vote, that is your
love or
political
hate this
identity,
dude,
and it is
love
incumbent
or
upon
hate
both
this
parties,
dude.
Republicans
He's
and
cooking
Democrats,
in this
to
part.
run people
It
whose
is what it is.
franchise gives
The
you one
truth
vote.
is the
That
truth,
is
no
your
matter
political
who is
identity, and it
saying
is
the
incumbent
truth.
upon both parties, Republicans and Democrats, power, one vote that they had. It's just that this
This
Supreme
is
Court
based,
said your
indubitably
race doesn't
based.
necessarily have
It
to
is
dictate your
incontrovertibly
political
based.
identity. The fact that you're an American
It is
citizen and your
incontestably
franchise gives
based.
you one vote, that is your political identity, and it is incumbent upon both parties. With franchise gives you one vote, that is your political identity, and it is incumbent. Said your race doesn't necessarily have to dictate
Determine.
your political identity. The fact that you're an American citizen and your franchise gives you one vote, that is your political identity. And
Yeah.
it is incumbent upon both parties, Republicans and Democrats, to run people who speak not to just one constituency.
Don't cater
but
to
all
certain
American
groups,
interests.
but
To me, that's
the
what
whole
that's how the
American population.
Yeah, please.
I might agree with you. If
You
they
might.
Say something different 3 years ago. We aren't talking about in Alabama.
Yo,
a
Ashley,
district that existed when my grandmother.
Yo, she's bugging.
Race doesn't necessarily have to dictate your political identity. The fact that you're an American citizen and your franchise gives you one vote, that is your political identity. And it is incumbent upon both parties, Republicans and Democrats, to run people who speak not to just one constituency, but all Americans.
Yes.
To me, that's
Words.
that's how the November
All
election
races,
is.
all religions, all groups,
Please.
all categories,
I might agree
subcategories of
If
the
they had
American
said something
population.
different 3 years ago. We aren't talking about in Alabama a district that existed when my grandmother was alive. We're talking about a district that was drawn in 2023 because there are injustices that are still being placed. We're talking
Here
about
we go.
this.
With the
Where we're not
wokeness,
like-
the
it's not
woke
just one
rhetoric.
person across the street. They split a whole city into 3 to make black voters have less power in House maps. The voting
Yeah, but they did the same thing out in Virginia though too, right? They split the DC.
to 3 to make black voters have less power in House maps. The voting
Yeah, but they did the same thing out in Virginia though too, right? They split the DC suburbs into like 5 different districts, and then they spread them out in order to take away representation from rural voters.
Suburban.
Out in Virginia, right? Who are
Yeah,
mostly white,
VA.
by the way. Okay,
Yeah.
so you talk about
Predominantly,
having
yeah.
white vote diluted by
Yes.
suburban
According
DC
to the logic,
voters.
yes.
By these liberal cities, you have the white vote diluted, and these people never boo-hoo whine and cry racism.
The
or
wokies,
that.
yeah,
they
they're
never have a problem.
yeah,
with the white vote
they're
diluted
inconsistent.
for political gain.
It is
for the
selective.
benefit
Their
of the Democrat Party.
anger,
But all
their
the black voters
rage,
getting diluted,
their
right? They can have a
lividity, their
representation
irateness,
from rural voters
their-
out in Virginia, right? Who are mostly white, by the way. Okay, so you talk about having the white vote diluted by suburban DC voters.
their opposition. Their
by these liberal
opposition
cities. You
is
have the white vote diluted, and
inconsistent.
these people
It is
never
selective.
boo-hoo whine and cry racism over that. They never have a problem when the white vote is being
They're
diluted,
fake. This is the reason.
right? Well, mostly white, by the
They
way.
don't
Okay, so you
apply
talk about having
consistently.
white vote diluted by suburban DC voters. By these liberal cities, you have the white vote diluted and representation from rural
They're
voters
fake.
out in Virginia, right?
These
Who are mostly
wokies, they're
white, by the
fake.
way.
These woke
Okay,
dems,
so you
they're
talk
fake.
about having the white vote diluted
Yeah.
by suburban DC voters.
Nuts.
to 3 to make black voters have
It
less
is
power in
absolutely
House maps.
nuts.
The voting
Yeah, but they did the same
What's
thing out in
these
Virginia,
woke
though,
Dems
too,
do?
right? They split the DC suburbs into like 5 different districts.
Unbelievable.
And then they spread them out in
Detestable.
order to take
Trash.
away representation from rural voters out in Virginia, right? Who are mostly white, by the way. Okay, so you talk about having the white vote diluted by suburban DC voters, by these liberal cities. You have the white vote diluted, and these people never boo-hoo and cry racism over that. They never have a problem.
They have no principles. They have no scruples. They have no. They are bereft of integrity. They have no integrity.
Right? They have a black district only. Oh, this is so terrible. This is so bad.
Fake.
They split it up, right?
Fugazi.
As if we never seen this before.
Fufu.
If you have a problem with
F-U-F-U, fufu, meaning fake.
3 ways, then you should have a bigger problem with Virginia.
You have to be equally, you have to
ways, right?
have equal anger.
But they don't have a problem with it.
But they don't.
This is about so-called black voters. It's not about racism. It's not about hate.
Because of bias.
Democrat power and control.
Yeah.
But they're using the race card as an emotional
weapon, shield.
Defense.
Yeah.
For what Democrats are doing in order
for
to
evil.
attack Republicans, right?
For trash behavior.
This is not real concern about black people losing their voice. This
Word.
is simply a concern about Democrats losing power.
Yep, control.
That's it.
Voting Rights Act, which actually was
Yo, BCP, he's cooking in this video, bro.
Under your boss, George W. Bush. It used to be a bipartisan thing. It used to be clear that the backdrop of this country, there is discrimination now. There was pervasive discrimination when the law was signed into law during the Civil Rights Movement. We can all go into our partisan corners, but to act like what is happening right now is not a direct attack on black voters or black voters' ability to represent themselves.
She's bugging, bro. This is bunk. This is all the way rubbish.
Black voters are allowed to elect whoever they want. And in
yo, Ashley, yo. Yeah, it is crazy, bro. Yo, the desire to, the craving of sympathy is crazy, bro. The craving, the wanting to be a victim so bad is really crazy. Yeah. In what way is it fair to gerrymander based on racial group or racial or race? In what way is it fair? In what way can she say this is fair, bro? She's bugging. Yeah. No hate for Ashley, bro. She can be reasonable. She can be. She is civilized when she's debating conservatives and Republicans. She does debate in a civil and composed way. She does debate in a civil, composed, and polite way. She does debate in a civil, composed, and polite way. She really does. But Ashley, she's less intolerable than certain other lefties. She's more tolerable. She's more tolerable than certain other lefties, but she's still woke. It is what it is. But there's no odium for Ashley. There's no detestation for Ashley. She just says certain many things she says are wrong. It is what it is.
We had this conversation yesterday, Scott. Black voters are allowed to elect whoever they want. And in 2024, they did. They elected a black Democrat in that district in Alabama. We had this conversation yesterday, Scott. Black voters are a direct attack on black voters' power, black voters' ability to represent themselves. Now, we had this conversation yesterday, Scott. Black voters are allowed to elect whoever they want. And in 2024, they did. They elected a black Democrat. We had this conversation yesterday, Scott.
Bot Jennings.
direct attack
Bot
on black
Jennings.
voters' power, black voters' ability to represent themselves. Now, we had this conversation yesterday, Scott. Black voters are allowed to elect whoever they want. And in 2024, they did. They elected a black Democrat in that new district in Alabama. That black Democrat went through a primary of 13 people, and black voters found the agency to come and decide how that primary now will be erased. And put a black Republican up in that district if you want black voters to have the choice. But they're not. That's not what's happening. It is a dissemination of distribution of black power. And to call it anything other than that, I just think is being historically ignoring the past of our country and pretending like we're not trying to drive our country.
To negatively assume this is crazy.
One of the interesting things about Tennessee that we should also keep in mind is that Tennessee district that they
it is disingenuous to say people are ignoring or to say it is disingenuous all the way disingenuous to say everybody who's in opposition to her politically is historically ignoring things. Nah, bro. Nah. Stop.
One of the interesting things about Tennessee that we should also keep in mind is that Tennessee district that they did away with existed prior to the Voting Rights Act. So one of the interesting things about Tennessee that we should also keep in mind is that
and pretending like we're not trying to drive our country to a different type
one of the interesting things about Tennessee that we should also keep in mind is that Tennessee district that they did away with existed prior to the Voting Rights Act. So Memphis as a city has been a district even before they were trying to rectify racial discrimination with the Voting Rights Act. So, you know, we're going to start...
Yeah, because segregation existed back then, right? Yeah, I don't understand why
racial segregation
was a good point, right? Like, if that district existed before the Voting Rights Act
of 1965, 61 years ago.
Back then, segregation, they drew a black-only district. Well, it's because we were living in segregation.
Yep.
Right? I thought we were moving past that. I thought
evolving.
That we were moving beyond segregation.
Mm.
But apparently, again, these people are totally fine with segregation as long as it benefits Democrats.
Yep.
And that's why I find it so funny how,
selective.
The black woman who was
it is
talking,
trash. It is garbage.
Keep saying
he's
that,
referring to Ashley, the lady who was just talking.
It's like, no, it's attack on Democrat
He
power.
was referring to Ashley Allison.
Because this is open.
Ashley Allison.
Keep saying that, you can't call it anything except what it is. I thought that we were.
This is the lady he was referring to.
But apparently, again, these people are totally fine with segregation as long as it benefits Democrats. And that's why I find it so funny how the black woman who was just talking, right, keep saying that, you can't call it anything except what it is. It's attack on black power. It's like
garbage,
attack on Democrat
rubbish.
Power. That's what it is. Because this is only an issue because black voters vote for Democrats at a 90%
a crazy clip.
Which
a
is
crazy
that
clip.
No other demographic does, right?
Yep.
Even women, right?
Monolithic.
Just black voters. That's it. So when you talk about breaking up a black district, right? What they're really doing is that they're targeting a Democrat district in the same way that Democrats target Republican districts that are mostly white, right?
Yep.
Republicans are targeting a Democrat district that happens to be mostly black. It's not based off race.
Word.
It's based off of partisan politics.
Yes.
But again, making it about partisan politics does not give Democrats the moral high ground,
the benefits
that they're using in order to
doesn't benefit
them the public on this issue.
Yep.
Because let's be real, can they really complain about partisan gerrymandering when you look at New England? No. When you look at Illinois? No. When you look at New York? No. When you look at California? No. Blue states are gerrymandered to the max. Democrats love gerrymandering. So if the conversation is about simply partisan gerrymandering, Democrats have no leg to stand on. So this is why they have to continue to talk about black this, black that, racism, hate, bigotry.
Obsession. It is craziness.
That's the only way they can make this argument.
Yep.
Without sounding like complete and total hypocrites. But at the same time, they still sound like complete and total hypocrites because they're basically pro-segregation, right?
Yeah.
They make an argument
Yeah.
that we didn't
They
have
won't
segregated
admit
districts based
this,
off
but
race,
yes.
which is something that we're supposed to be moving past. But we can't because Democrats need segregation.
Yep.
They need racism, right? They need Jim Crow in order to maintain power. It's almost as if the Democrat Party never switched, right?
DCP, he's cooking.
Just like they need illegals
He's
for
cooking.
slavery.
He's cooking these
right?
wokies.
It's almost
Is he
racism, right?
is he referring to Jasmine Crockett? Did Jasmine Crockett say the Dems need illegals for slavery? Did Jasmine Crockett say this? Let me know in the comments. Refresh my memory. Yeah. The slavery remark was crazy.
Still sound like complete total hypocrites because
Jasmine Crockett. Her last name is befitting because what she says is a crock of ish. Bars. 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 Bizarres. Bars.
In order to maintain power. It's almost as if the Democrat Party feels out like complete total hypocrites because they're basically
hypocritical.
Pro-segregation, right? They're making arguments that we need to have segregated districts based off race, which is something that we're supposed to be moving past. But we can't because Democrats need segregation. They need racism, right? They need Jim Crow in order to maintain power. It's almost as if the Democrat Party never switched, right? That they never changed. Just like they need illegals for slavery, right? It's almost as if they're the same exact party that they were.
You're busy. You have responsibilities.
Yeah, it is not.
And you also have dreams.
Dude, you're from another planet, but you're stuck here till you find this magic sword
Skip this ad.
So,
Horseshoe Gang. Bars.
The marketing is different, but the underlying core ideology and objectives are the same, right? Segregation and slavery, right? Amazing, absolutely amazing.
Start to see, maybe Virginia might try again and create that. Maybe they might try to create an 11-0 map because now, according to the Supreme Court, you can. We might live in a country where all around the country we have states where the minority political party has effectively zero representation.
Okay, that's fine, right? That's okay. That's these people don't understand. I don't care. Why don't I care about whether or not Democrats have representation in the South? It's because Democrats didn't care about Republicans having representation in the Northeast. So again, it's so funny how
fair game.
Now when Republicans are winning, now all these people coming out of the woodwork, oh, this is so bad. Both sides doing this is it's gonna take us to a bad place in the country. This is
super
not good,
goofy, bro.
Right? Now they're all principally opposed to gerrymandering. But where was
Please.
this principal opposition when Democrats were doing it in the Northeast?
They have no scruples.
Where was this
They have no morals.
when Democrats were doing it in California?
They suck
when they were doing it
morally.
in Virginia?
These
the
wokies.
opposition only came when Republicans started winning.
Goofy.
Before, when
Crappy.
it looked like Democrats
Fecal.
were going to win, well, it was
Unlaudable. Unlaudable. Unlaudable.
Place, right? They were talking a big game.
Disgraceful.
They're talking a big game. Now
Poopy.
Republicans are winning. Well, we want to mutually
detestable.
Disarm, right? We just want to stop this.
Hateable.
We don't like the direction that this is headed.
Odious.
Of course you don't.
All the way.
Democrats are losing. Democrats have already gerrymandered their states to the max. They don't have much ammunition left. They can't do much, right? There's not that much they can do. But there's a lot more that Republicans can do because Republicans have underutilized it, which is the exact opposite narrative from the media, right? If you listen to the media, they'll make it seem like gerrymandering is a Republican thing and that Democrats are just doing it in response to Republicans. No. If that was the case, the Democrats will have a lot more firepower. They would be able to do a lot more. But the reason why they're panicking is because they can't do a lot more. They can't do much at all because they already have gerrymandered their states to the max. There's not much more they can do. But there's a lot more that Republicans can do. And this is what they're afraid of. This is why they want to mutually disarm. This is why they want everybody to stop. Well, we just want everybody to stop. Which they only say, they only want everybody to stop when Democrats are losing. When Democrats are winning, they're cheering it on.
Crazy.
It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
Unbelievable.
Overnight, all these people
It is
have
goofy.
now come out against gerrymandering, right? Both sides need to stop, right? But just a few weeks ago, when Democrats after they won that election in Virginia, that's not the conversation that was being had. That's not the conversation that's not what these people were saying at all.
I think everybody should take confidence in the fact the Supreme Court
Kevin
basically
O'Leary.
supported one vote, one person, guaranteed in perpetuity, and the rest is just map wars. And I think we should get used to it.
Yeah,
I think it's
facts.
like you said, a
We concur.
state-based
We
situation.
converge.
Add this to the mix.
Kevin is
At the end of the
cooking.
day,
O'Leary
the
is
state
cooking.
decides at the state level. It's in the Constitution.
Yeah, the 10th
Get
Amendment.
over it.
So the problem with
The
problem
powers
with that
are
sentiment is
reserved
that you
for
were
the
born
states.
in 1954.
Yeah. State level. It's in the Constitution. Get over it.
So the problem with that sentiment is that you were born.
I think we should get used to it. And I think it's, as you said, a state-based situation. Add this to the mix. At the end of the day, the state decides
Yep.
at the state level. It's in the Constitution.
Yep.
Get
Logic.
over it.
So
He's
the
giving
problem-
logic.
the problem with
O'Leary
that
is.
sentiment is that you were born in 1954.
Yeah.
Okay, you're
Very
70.
popular.
You're 71.
Yeah.
Right. In
By the way,
1954,
I'm a vampire.
during your lifetime,
BS
you've actually
is
had
this
Brown v.
dude
Board of
is
Education.
a
I
BS
Yeah, Brown v.
are befitting initials for this dude's BS. Yeah, the initialism is befitting for this dude because he spews BS shamelessly, non-stop, unceasingly. It is crazy.
I think we support one vote, one person, guaranteed in perpetuity. And the rest is just map wars. And I think we should get used to it. And I think it's, as you said, a state-based situation. Add this to the mix. At the end of the day, the state decides at the state level. It's in the Constitution. Get over it.
So the problem with that sentiment is that you were born in 1954.
Yeah.
Okay, you're
Very
70.
popular.
You're 71.
Yeah.
Right. In
By the way,
1954,
I'm a vampire.
during your lifetime, we've actually had Brown v. Board of Education.
I remember.
Yeah, Brown v. Board of Education. I don't know how you remember it. I think you're like 2 months old. But I'm not finished yet. Let me finish my thought.
Drill back to 50.
Yeah, because you're still alive, right? And so there's an entire generation of people. Brown v. Board, it overturned Plessy v. Ferguson in
And your point
1896.
is? Bring it.
My point is that my mother was born in 1951. She desegregated schools. My father was shot in the Civil Rights Movement. Those people, I'm going to finish because you're being utterly disrespectful.
Not at all.
So I'm going to finish this comment. So what I'm telling you is that there are people in this country who fought, died, and bled for the right to vote.
That's true. What he's saying is true. What he's saying is true. To be fair to BS. To be fair to BS. To be fair to BS. Bakari Sellers.
I'm gonna stop you.
It is true.
Because I
It is true.
So what I'm telling you is that there are people in this country who fought, died, and bled for the right to vote.
Yeah.
Don't be a just understand.
Hold on.
So what I'm telling you is those people, I'm going to finish because you're being utterly disrespectful.
Not at all.
So I'm going to finish this comment. So what I'm telling you is that there are people in this country who fought, died, and bled for the right to vote. Don't be a just understand. Just
I'm not a dick. I'm
understand
pointing something out.
Yo, this guy, he's saying expletives now, bro. Yo, CNN. Yo, what is going on CNN, bro? Multiple dudes are saying
I want you to understand
expletives,
there's
profanities,
a-
obscenities, imprecations. Yeah, it is crazy, bro. Contributors losing control of their emotions.
But I'm not finished yet. Let me finish my thought.
Yo, he should be suspended for this too.
Right? And so there's an
This is
entire
me being
generation
fair
of people.
and consistent.
Brown v. Board
I said
overturned
Bot
Plessy v.
Jennings.
Ferguson
I
in
said
1896.
Bot Jennings should be suspended for saying F-U-C-K-I-N-G.
My father was shot in the Civil Rights
When he
Movement.
was talking
Those
to
people-
Adam
I'm gonna
Mockler,
finish because you're being
BS,
utterly
he
disrespectful.
should be
So I'm gonna
suspended
finish this
too.
comment. So what I'm telling
Fairness,
you is that there are people in this
consistency,
country who fought,
integrity.
died, and bled for the right to vote.
With me, when it comes to
Just
me,
understand.
fairness,
Just
consistency,
understand.
integrity. These are the things I adhere to. These are the things I adhere to,
because
yo.
I just want everybody.
Period. Words.
So what I'm telling you is that there are people in this country who fought, died, and bled for the right to vote. Don't be a Just understand.
Will he be suspended though? This is the question. He probably won't, because he's been doing this contributor stuff for a long time. He's very skilled at what he does. Same with Scott, but they adherence to propriety and civility must be done. You have to give accountability. People have to face accountability for their transgressions. Nobody is above consequences. Bakari's not, Scott is not, nobody is. So people have to be serious, bro.
I'm gonna stop you because I just
People have to be serious. People have to be serious.
That there are people in this country who fought, died, and bled for the right to vote. Don't be a just understand. Just understand something out. Just being upheld.
I'm gonna stop you because I just want everybody to reset with a modicum of respect at this table. Please stop.
I want you to understand that there is a price. There's a.
You know, Kevin O'Leary is hilarious, right? Because he actually has cojones. And this is because he's a businessman, right? And I don't think Kevin O'Leary's the type of guy that really is into the race stuff, right? He doesn't strike me as the type of dude that wants to sit around and have conversations about race all day.
Obsessed, hyperfixates, hyper-focused on race, which is super irrelevant.
Well, my grandparents, he actually has cojones.
The Stones, the
I
Guts.
don't think Kevin O'Leary's the type of guy that really is into the race stuff, right? He doesn't strike me as the type of dude that wants to sit around and have conversations about race all day, right? The only race that matters to Kevin O'Leary is green.
The money,
so I get exactly where he's coming from.
The dough,
Bakari
the cake, the cheese.
Trying to give the emotional argument.
Sorry.
My grandparents, my ancestors went through this and that.
Predecessors,
and
antecedents.
like, okay, what's your point?
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
What is the point that you're trying to make? Right?
Don't divert.
I
Don't
want to hear the sad
deflect.
Stories about what black people went through, stuff that you didn't go through, by the way. Stuff
Yeah.
that Bakari sellers did not go through.
Yep.
Okay, I don't want to hear about it. We're tired of hearing about it, right? I don't want to hear about it. Nobody wants to hear about that anymore, right? Make your point and keep it moving. Kevin O'Leary's point is simply that the Supreme Court is upholding the Constitution.
Yep.
This is a state's issue. You
Yep.
gotta get over
Reserved
it. Right?
for the
it's a state
states.
issue. That's it.
Yes.
Move on. Bakari is trying to come with the emotions. You know, oh, what was me?
The
oh,
history,
my parents,
the family,
civil rights,
history.
what happened in the 1950s? And Kevin O'Leary's like, I don't care. And he's right. I don't care either. I don't care about what happened.
As in,
right?
what he said is irrelevant.
We need to move on. It's been 50, 60, 70 years. We're done.
The topic,
okay? We're done. If black people have not made progress, which is what liberals claim, if black people are worse off today, then it's because black people vote Democrat. Ari is trying to come with the emotions. You know, oh, woe is me, oh, my parents, oh, civil rights, oh, what happened in the 1950s? And Kevin O'Leary's like, I don't care. And he's right, I don't care either. I don't care about what happened in the past, right? We need to move on. It's been 50, 60, 70 years. We're
60
done.
plus.
Okay, we're done. If black people have not made progress, which is what liberals claim, if black people are worse off today, then it's because black people vote Democrat.
Blindly.
Which means that this is a great thing. This is a great thing for black people.
Obsequiously.
Maybe, just maybe, something will change because they're no longer segregated into districts where they have these black representatives who have failed them for decades. Again, this is not my argument. This is me acknowledging what these black liberals are claiming, which is that black people haven't made enough progress, right? Okay, fine, cool. Well, if you really feel that way, again, after 60 years, right, then maybe it's time for something to change. Maybe black people should get better representation, right? And then maybe stuff will change. Maybe stuff will get better, right? That is where I'm at this point, okay?
The price that was paid for this right.
Same, yeah. We don't, yeah. When BCP says O'Leary doesn't care, he doesn't care. When he says O'Leary doesn't care, he doesn't care. People who share their stances don't care. I don't care. When he says certain people don't care, he's not saying that there's lack of empathy or lack of understanding of what his family members went through during that period of time. O'Leary, he's not saying he doesn't empathize or he doesn't think that what happened to his family members was terrible, evil, unlaudable, horrible, demonic, devilish. He isn't saying this. BCP is not saying this. Yours truly is not. Yours truly isn't saying this. But what he's saying, what Bakari Sellers is saying is irrelevant. It has no relevance to what they're discussing. So, yeah, he has to move on. It is what it is.
Right? And then maybe stuff will change. Maybe stuff will get better, right? That is where I'm at this point, okay?
The price that was paid for this right. There is a price that we uphold. And whether or not you value that, whether or not you value that.
Before we continue, Bakari Sellers, he has a history of saying expletives, of saying imprecations. Not every time was purposeful. Not every curse words was intentional, but most of the curse words he said on CNN were intentional, purposeful, on purpose. So, yeah, he should be suspended at least for these things, but he probably won't get suspended because he's been doing this for 11 years now. And he's very skillful at what he does, so they're most likely he will be able to be back on the CNN panel on the Abby Phillips show. But yeah, this goes against propriety and civility, bro. This goes against decorousness. This goes against peacefulness. This goes against these things. It is. The reason this stuff keeps happening is people prioritize drama and unhealthiness above propriety and civility, bro. They place higher importance on drama, bro. Drama leads to more views, to more visibility, to more money, to higher ratings. Yeah. Sadly, unfortunately, this is the reality. Viewers, they gravitate to drama, they gravitate to negativity, they gravitate to hostility, animosity, animus, venom. They gravitate to low vibrational. They gravitate to low vibrational convos, bro. It is nuts. But it is the truth. It is the brutal truth. It is the brutal truth. It is sad, but it is the brutal truth. It is all the way hateable. If more people have to change their mentalities for the better, they have to stop equating drama to coolness, stop equating animosity to goodness, to laudability, to they have to stop. They must stop seeing drama as something worthy of praise, bro. It doesn't cause the viewers to be more educated, to be more informed, to learn anything, bro. It causes more division, more hatred, more nonsense. This is what these heated conversations leads to more animus, to more nonsense, to more division, to more strife, to more disharmony, to more effing strife, bro. It leads to more effing strife. It leads to more effing strife. It is what it is. It has to cease. It is a disease. It is a social malady. It is a social disease. It is all the way trash. Yeah. Nuts. Yeah, the 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 first incident, the first time Bakari said an expletive was in July of 2019 on CNN. He told the Democratic people, he told the Democrats to go out there and tell Donald Trump he's full of ish, shit. He said the full curse word. He said the full curse words. He said the full curse words. He said BS said the full curse words. Crazy. It wasn't intentional. It was a mistake. He slipped up. He said right after he said the curse words, he gave an apology. He quickly apologized. He quickly apologized after he said the curse words shit. Then in July of 2024, he said the critics who call Kamala, I call her Conala, Conala. The critics who call her, he said in July of 2024 that the critics who call Kamala DEI are using this acronym as a substitute for NIGGA. He said the full curse words, NIGGA, on CNN, on the panel, on air. He didn't apologize for this. He didn't give an apology or issue an apology for this. He wasn't repentant. He wasn't contrite. He wasn't penitent. He didn't give a solitary F. Crazy, bro. Then in February of 2026, in February of 2026, then in February of 2026, he caught the VP JD Vance in ASSHOLE because JD Vance reposted a tweet that said Alex Preddy, the protester who impeded who committed impedance, who blocked the federal agents pertaining to immigration from doing what they were supposed to do. The reason Bakari said JD was an a-hole was because JD reposted a tweet that said Alex Preddy was an assassin who tried to murder federal agents. The reason BS called JD Vance an a-hole was because JD reposted a tweet saying Alex Preddy was an assassin who tried to murder federal agents. Crazy. Crazy what BS did, what Bakari did. What JD Vance said, how you view what JD Vance said is irrelevant. BS shouldn't be saying ASSHOLE on air, bro. F how you view what JD Vance puts how you view what JD Vance said to the side. What Bakari said, the expletive he said was wrong, bro. Bakari was in the wrong for saying ASS. He was in the wrong for saying ASSHOLE on air. It is what it is. In May of 2026, yesterday, May 11th, he gave a command to Kevin O'Leary. He said, "Don't be a DICK, bro." He said another before that, forgot to say he didn't apologize for saying J.D. Vance was an ASSHOLE on air. He didn't give an apology. Then on May 11th, 2026, after he gave a command to Kevin O'Leary of don't be a DICK on air, he didn't give an apology. He wasn't penitent or repentant or contrite. He wasn't contrite after he told Kevin O'Leary to not be a DICK. Yeah, this is a pattern. He has a history of not being apologetic after saying expletives on air, bro. Nuts. This is all the way garbage. He should be suspended. He's a CNN contributor who said shamelessly on multiple occasions expletives, profanities, imprecations. Yeah. He's a paid contributor he's a paid CNN contributor. He's a paid CNN contributor who said expletives with no shame on multiple occasions. So this is grounds for suspension. This is grounds for disciplinary action. He hasn't received any form of disciplinary action yet. He hasn't received any form of disciplinary action yet. Will he receive any form of disciplinary action? We will see. Who knows? Hopefully.
To be Sycamore is to be
He should.
exceptional.
This is my candid opinion, but people can disagree. Disagree peacefully, though, in the comments. Disagree respectfully in the comments. Disagree peaceably in the comments. Civilly in the comments.
Either way, it's time to.
Merci beaucoup. Gracias. Obrigado.
That limits the power and influence of.
Fast forward.
Opportunity, and the rest is just math.
And the Democrats are just doing it.
Hold on.
And is that you were born in 1954?
Yep.
There's a.
You know, Kevin O'Leary is hilarious, right? I don't want to hear about it. We're okay.
Price.
Yeah. Love or hate Donald J. Trump. Bump how you view Trump. Love or hate Donald Trump. Bump how you view Trump. Agree or disagree with Trump. It is irrelevant. What Bakari said in July of 2019 was crazy. Bump how you view Kamala, aka Kamala Harris. Agree or disagree with her politically. Dislike or like her. It doesn't matter. What Bakari said was crazy. Bump how you view the VP, the Republican VP, J.D. Vance. Bump how you view him. Bump how you view what he said. Bump how you view what he said in response to his reposting of the Alex Preddy tweet that said he's an assassin. He was an assassin who tried to murder federal agents. Bump how you view what J.D. Vance said in response. Bump how you view what J.D. Vance said in response to the reposting of the tweet saying Alex Preddy was an assassin who tried to murder federal agents. J.D. Vance's response was, for what? Or before that, he was asked if he was going to apologize for the reposting of this garbage tweet, this mendacious, this unfounded, groundless, baseless tweet that Alex Preddy was an assassin who tried to murder federal agents. Preddy was not an assassin. He didn't try to murder federal agents. Yes, he committed impedance. He blocked the immigration agents. He blocked the agents from doing what they were supposed to do. Yeah, he committed a crime. He committed. Yeah, he did commit. He did engage in criminal activity, but he didn't premeditate murder. He didn't intend to murder agents. He didn't show his gun. He didn't wave his gun. His concealed he had concealed carry. He didn't show his gun. He didn't wave his gun. He didn't intend to harm anybody with the gun. So the tweet was garbage. JD Vance, he responded to the question of are you going to apologize for this? He said, for the reposting of that tweet. He said, for what? Yo, that JD Vance, he was bugging, bro. Yo, trash, bro, trash, terrible. He's a bozo for saying for what? For not for not engaging in contrition for what he did. He's a bozo for doing this. But how you view what JD Vance said is irrelevant. It doesn't matter. What Bakari said was crazy. But how you view Kevin O'Leary, agree or disagree with him politically, like or dislike him. What Bakari said was crazy. What Bakari said was crazy all the way. If you think otherwise, you are delusional or manipulative, one of the two. If you think otherwise, if you think the opposite, if you think otherwise or the opposite, you are delusional or manipulative. It is one of the two. Goofy.
Right? And then maybe stuff will change. Maybe stuff will get better, right? That is where I'm at this point, okay?
The price that was paid for this right. There is a price that we uphold. And whether or not you value that,
he should be suspended. Bakari.
There are
Word.
people who bled, sweat, and died who were
he
in
might
prison
not
for
get
access to
suspended
I
because
don't care.
he's
Okay?
been
the price that was
a
paid for this
contributor
right.
for so long,
There is a
and
price
he's
that
very
we
skilled.
uphold. And
So
whether or not you value that,
he most likely will remain a contributor, but we will see.
Sweat and died and were in prison for access
Nobody cares. Okay?
the price that was paid for this right. There is a price that
Okay?
the price that was paid for this right. There is a price that
And maybe it's time for something to change. Maybe black people should get better representation, right? And then maybe stuff will change. Maybe stuff will get better, right? That is where I'm at this point, okay?
the price that was paid for this right. There is a price that we uphold. And whether or not you value that, whether or not you value that or not, there are people who bled, sweat, and died and were in prison for access
Nobody cares. I don't care. I don't care. If I was on this panel, I'd tell them straight up. I don't care, right?
True, but irrelevant.
irrelevant
What
to the
Bakari is saying.
It's not.
It is true what he's saying, to be fair to him, but it is irrelevant.
It's over.
This is what Bakari must understand.
to the ballot box. And what we're seeing
have access.
Throughout the South is that their voice, their vote, their representation, and people who have lived experiences
Here
to
we go
represent
with
them
this list.
are not being sent to
The
Congress
wokeness.
or where they need to go.
The social malady, the social ailment, the social ill.
The conservatives are saying we
Sorry,
made progress
the social
in time,
ill.
of their stuff using racial
Their vote, their representation, and people who have lived experiences to represent them are not being sent to Congress or where they need to go.
This debate, by the way, is happening among the justices. If you look at the Louisiana decision, the conservatives are saying, we've made great progress, it's time to let go of this, of using racial
And
discrimination.
that's why I utilize the description of.
And the liberal justices say exactly what you just said, Bakari, which is there's a history here that we're overlooking.
But Ellie,
Yeah.
I mean, the 3 years have passed since 2020
Yeah.
2026.
Exactly.
It's not that long, but
All of a sudden, the country has made that much progress
And
in 3 years.
that's the criticism of the majority. Look, there's a famous quote by Ruth Bader Ginsburg, right? When the Voting Rights Act came,
Who should have retired?
when the Voting Rights Act came up, when she was on the bench, she said, the conservatives said, well, we've made great progress, so we don't need this anymore. And she said, I'm paraphrasing, but she said, that's like getting rid of your umbrella in a rainstorm because you're not getting wet.
Yes.
And the question is it still raining? Is it drizzling? Is it clear? People differ strongly on
And
that.
guess what? It can be clear one day and rain the next. And so that's the inconsistency.
Go ahead.
I just want to point out the one person, one vote. I think, Bakari, us millennials will have to wrestle with how we're going to leave this earth, and I'm determined to leave it better than I found it. And I think that this decision is actually going to open a rush to reevaluate a lot of things that you say are in the Constitution. Because right now you have a hat on that says Utah, and they have more representation in the Senate than the people actually in Alabama have
I
in
got
the
a
Senate.
situation in Utah going on.
I know, that's not why you have the hat on.
No, I
but
have it
like,
on.
you have it on, and so there are states right
I'm
now that have
supporting the
2
people in
senators.
Utah.
When we're sitting in a state right now that has more population than Utah multiplied by 10. And so if we
You
really
don't like
want to
Utah?
talk
I
about,
love Utah.
I'm talking about all the states that have smaller populations. If we really want to talk about one person, one vote, and if we really want to go down a path to see what real franchise means, you might have just opened a discussion that this country should be is timely to actually have.
Oh, basically what she's saying is that Democrats need to push to get rid of the electoral college, right, and to allow
Crazy, nuts,
the
insane,
popular vote to be
idiotic.
determinant
Woke.
of who becomes president, right? That is what she's saying, right? Or, to abolish the Senate. That's the type of radical stuff that she's going for. Again, Democrats hate the Constitution
Wokies.
when
Yeah,
it gets in their way, right? When it gets in the way of what they want to do,
It is
their power
terrible.
control, they can't stand it. They can't stand
they
it.
get apoplectic, up
This
in
is a
arms,
State's
up
issue.
in
Now,
arms.
Democrats are essentially arguing that our elections need to be federalized, which, by the way, they claim that our
Crazy.
elections did not need to be federalized, or they should be federalized when Trump pushed the Save Act, right? So you talk about voter ID, mandatory
Logical stuff,
citizenship check,
logical stuff.
when people register to vote to make sure illegals are not voting in our
Yep.
elections. Oh, you can't do that. It's a state's issue. States are allowed to decide this.
They claim
right?
it is racist
But when it comes
to
states
require
voting on elections,
identification
oh, no, well, see, they
when the
shouldn't be allowed-
majority of Democrats supported it. The majority of both parties supported the SAVE Act. You had the Dem Wokies on these panels saying it is racist, it is racism. Miss me with the nonsense, It is
do that,
this
right?
this
That's a
wokeness
federal
is
issue.
this
We need a
woke stuff is
federal
detrimental,
partisan
bro. It
gerrymandering,
really is
right?
all the way.
So you don't believe that states have the right to decide for themselves how they want to draw their districts, right? So you actually, well, see, they should be allowed to do that, right? That's a federal issue. We need a federal partisan gerrymandering, right? So you don't believe that states have the right. So you talk about voter ID, mandatory citizenship check, when people register to vote to make sure illegals are not voting in our elections. Oh, you can't do that. It's a state's issue. States are allowed to decide this, right? But when it comes to states drawing their own districts, oh no, well, see, they shouldn't be allowed to do that, right?
Many
that's a
blacks
federal-
supported the SAVE Act, so
They can't stand it. They can't stand it. This is a state's issue. Now Democrats
are the blacks who supported the SAVE
arguing
Act
that our
racist
elections need to
against
be
their
federalized,
own
which,
race?
by the way,
Yeah.
they claim that our elections did not need to be federalized.
Yeah, the
or they should
wokies,
be
they
federalized
kill
when
me,
Trump-
bro. They
when Trump
kill me
pushed
with this
the
BS,
SAVE Act, right?
with this
So you're
goofiness,
talking
bro.
about voter ID,
They kill me with the
mandatory
bunk,
citizenship
with the
check.
drivel, with the nonsense.
of who becomes president, right? That is what she's saying, right? Oh, they can't stand it. They can't stand it. This is a state's issue. Now Democrats are essentially arguing that our elections need to be federalized, which, by the way, they claim that our elections did not need to be federalized, or they should be federalized when Trump pushed the SAVE Act, right? So you talk about voter ID, mandatory citizenship check, when people register to vote to make sure illegals are not voting in our elections. Oh, you can't do that. It's a state's issue. States are allowed to decide this, right? But when it comes to states drawing their own districts, oh no, well, see, they shouldn't be allowed to do that, right? That's a federal issue. We need a ban on partisan gerrymandering, right? So you don't believe that states have the right to decide for themselves how they want to draw their districts, right? So you actually do believe in federalizing elections, just when it benefits Democrats, right? Just like they
the hypocrisy is crazy.
Passing all this legislation they got.
The hypocrisy is crazy.
To secure our elections, right?
It is super crazy. Psychosis partner bars. The wrestling heads will catch the bar.
So you actually do believe in federalizing elections, just when it benefits Democrats, right? Just like they believe in, passing all this legislation they got to make it harder for red states to
Republican states
have the right to decide for themselves how they want to draw their districts, right? So you actually do believe it. Have the right to decide, right? So you don't believe that states have the right to decide for themselves how they want to draw their districts, right?
The wokies don't. They're fake. They're fugazi. They have no principles.
Just when it benefits Democrats, right? Just like they believe in, passing all this legislation they got to make it harder for red states to secure our elections, right? To make sure there's no fraud going on in our elections, right? They support all it. They support federalizing our elections when it benefits them. They don't support it when it doesn't benefit them, right? And the crazy part about it is that in modern times, it actually makes sense to have universal voter ID or universal checks for citizenship to make sure that you're an actual citizen when you register to vote, considering the times that we're living in when we have mass illegal immigration into our country thanks to the Democrats. It actually makes sense to have a federal requirement for voter ID and all these other things, right?
Yeah.
When we talk about election integrity, that actually makes sense.
Logical, rational, reasonable.
So that what Democrats apparently
sensible,
believe in,
judicious,
which is that
sagacious
states should be required, mandated to draw racially segregated maps, right?
That's unfair.
Democrats, their idea of federalizing our election is to require blue states to actually have some election integrity, right? Check ID, check citizenship. To Democrats, that's wrong, right? You're federalizing our elections. But for whatever reason, check ID, check citizenship. To Democrats, that's wrong, right? You're actually have some election integrity, right? Check ID, check citizenship. To draw racially segregated maps, right? Think about it. Democrats, their idea of federalizing our election is to require blue states to actually have some election integrity, right? Check ID, check citizenship. To Democrats, that's wrong, right? You're federalizing our elections. But for whatever reason, the whole states' rights argument for Democrats goes out the window when it comes to this issue of redistricting and gerrymandering, right? Now all of a sudden, states don't have the right to do what they want in their elections. It's amazing how that works.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, very.
It's almost as if the only principle is power and control.
Tyranny.
It's not all the
tyrannization.
other nonsense that they talk about on
television.
Despotism. Oh, it's black people. It's not
It
that.
is what it is.
Democrats can care less about blacks, right? If blacks didn't vote Democrat, Democrats wouldn't give a damn about blacks. They only care because these people vote Democrat at a 90%
blindly, obsequiously,
and that's what they're really upset about.
Obsequiously.
If these black people were Republicans, they would not care. Right?
They're fake. They're fugazi.
Okay? So, let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share.
Yeah. This video is very based. This is one of the most based videos on YouTube. This is one of the most based videos in the political space and on YouTube.